Jones. Secretary Camarillo, I was struck when I read the testimony of Sergeant Major of the Armory Grinston. I think he put in perspective the emphasis that the military, and not just the Army, but the Navy and the Air Force, puts on readiness and military skills, but also includes equal opportunity training, diversity training. In his words, there is 1 hour of equal opportunity training in basic training and 92 hours of rifle marksmanship training. And if you go to one station unit training, where you go from basic to your advanced training, there's 165 hours of rifle marksmanship training and only 1 hour of equal opportunity training. And that, I think, reflects the emphasis on readiness. Would you agree?
Mr. Chairman, I do agree. I think it reflects the reality for our soldiers, their leaders, all the way up to the Secretary of the Army. We wake up every day and our top priority is readiness of our soldiers, their ability to perform the mission, and our focus on what we're doing to defend this country. I would note that we've got 50,000 soldiers right now that are stationed in Europe to provide reassurance to our NATO partners and allies. We're continuing to support the Ukrainians through our drawdown assistance. These are the types of issues that we're focused on in making sure that we have a ready force.
And in fact, with the Ukraine crisis, you were able to mobilize and deploy a armored infantry brigade in 6 days from basically no notice to get them at the front lines in Europe, ready to go. Is that right?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. There's no shortage of wonder of what our soldiers have been able to do in the last year, as they do every year.
Thank you. Secretary Raven, your comments about readiness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. During the same hearing, we heard from Sergeant Major Black, whose first words to that committee is that the Marine Corps is ready to fight tonight. That standard is being held through the Navy and Marine Corps. We have thousands of sailors who are forward deployed in key areas of the world, especially the Asia Pacific, to provide deterrence, perform important missions, and better secure our country. And they are on the job 24/7.
Senator Jones, your comments.
Thank you, Senator. Our focus on readiness is both in the short term and the long term, as we focus on efforts like flying hours and weapon system sustainment for our people today so that they're ready to go, while also focused on the future for our research and development efforts so that we have the right equipment for the future fight.
This is a generation, I have some clinical experience, my daughter's 16, that is focused on social media, and I'm being mild. Focus is it's even more intense. So how are we integrating social media into our recruiting? I'll start with Secretary Jones and ask everyone.
Thank you, Chairman. That's an important point that we're focused on. As I mentioned in my opening statement, using digital media as a way to reach out to more Americans. We're also looking at how to better utilize YouTube influencers. They're out there, they're talking about the Air Force, they're giving many impressions. As one example, we had some outreach for our Space Force in particular that involved 200,000 high school students, but 20 million influences through social media. And so we're looking at ways to leverage that to help to underscore the value of military service for high-tech jobs and education.
Do you find access to social media expensive versus other means of communication?
Social media is actually far cheaper than, as an example, a Super Bowl commercial or things like that. And so we're able to use more cost-effective ways to reach our youth through social media.
Thank you. Secretary Raven, your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you go back just a few years, both the Navy and Marine Corps are overwhelmingly focused on television. We found that's not the most productive way to reach the generation of Americans that you're referring to. Right now, something like more than 98% of our advertising is on social media. And I've frequently been asked the question of, I pull up Facebook, why don't I see the ads? Is because on social media, we can more precisely target those in those age groups and demographics who are more likely to get an impression of what the Navy and Marine Corps can offer them and respond to that. If that message is going out to everybody, we're not using our appropriated dollars to best effect, and so we're focusing strategies on maximum impact.
And the expense is something that is better than other medium?
Yes, we are certainly finding that, along with the ability to target the audience that we need to.
Secretary Camarillo.
I'll be very brief. I agree with everything my colleague said, Mr. Chairman. I would just also add, we've also invested in this last year in upgrading our tools that we have in digital platforms ourselves in the Army, like our goarmy.com website, to be able to better interface with our Generation Z population, particularly as they are seeing the ads and the outreach that we're doing on these platforms.
Thank you very much.